Sriman Gauranga Das. Prabhuji, are you here?
Yeah, I'm there, and I
Yes.
request host to give screen share to Office of Gauranga Das, Office Gauranga Das screen name, so that the presentation will happen from.
Okay. So, Jyotishwar Prabhu, please permit. So, I will just briefly introduce about Sriman Gauranga Das, who has been doing excellent work in the last 3 decades about transforming countless lives through activities and different roles that can be adapted by uh, society. He is a mindful leadership consultant and running the initiatives to meditation. He has established the Govardhan School of Public Leadership in Govardhan Ecovillage, involved in training future bureaucrats and public leaders in responsible mindful leadership with character and integrity based on the principles of Bhagavad Gita and other such shastras. Govardhan Ecovillage is accredited to the United Nations Environment Assembly and United Nations Economic and Social Council. He holds a BTech degree from IIT Bombay. He is also a great cook and has cooked over 3 million plates in the period of 2007 to 2019. During the recent COVID pandemic, he, along with his team at Govardhan Ecovillage, cooked over 1 lakh meal to feed the migrant laborers and tribal villagers. Over to you, Sriman Gauranga Das.
Yes, thank you. So, thank you very much, Dr. Goyal, Dr. Das, Dr. Ravi Gupta, for your kind words of introduction on the Govardhan Ecovillage. So today my presentation is on Govardhan Ecovillage and the 17 SDGs. These are a collection of 17 interlinked goals that were designed to be blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. In the Ishopanishad is already declared, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. So the entire concept of our Upanishads is holistic. Nature is seen as cyclical, and the SDGs were set up in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly and intended to be achieved by year 2030. And it was part of a UN resolution called the 2030 Agenda, and it is colloquially known as Agenda 2030. So these SDGs were developed in the post-2015 development agenda as the future global development framework to succeed the Millennium Development Goals, which ended in 2015. So the idea is that, yes, the whole world is dealing with the crisis of climate change, but spiritual organizations come into the picture because their main agenda is transformation of the heart, transformation of consciousness, transformation of desires, which results in transformation of attitudes, which results in transformation in how we perceive and look at things. And that transformation in perception transforms the entire process of decision making, of prioritization, and ultimately it affects and impacts lifestyles and choices, which ultimately translates into an entire wide range of activities which society indulges in. As has been pointed by Dr. Gupta, India traditionally was living as part of the Vedic tradition, a very sustainable life. So many of the things which nowadays become a huge talking point in terms of green living, they were part of regular commonplace life as part of the Vedic paradigm. And therefore, the whole idea of science and data-based organizations as United Nations, reaching out and wanting to shake hands with spiritual organizations which are faith-based, which are based on tradition, which are based on scriptures. It's a very landmark moment in the history of mankind because practically everybody, irrespective of their particular denomination, has rallied around the center point of a planet which is burning. And therefore, in spite of all kinds of individual points of view and perspectives and differences which different denominations of people across the world may have. They're all people who may not have talked to each other for some time, living within a house with 4 to 5 rooms. But when the house is on fire, you have to break your silence and come forward and support and help each other, because ultimately the house is on fire and our and future generations' life is at stake. With that understanding, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, as part of ISKCON, had established a simple paradigm known as simple living and high thinking, and expected ISKCON temples to be not just places of worship, but also through Krishna, who represents cow protection, and Balram, who represents agriculture, to have a few communities across the world which would exemplify this principle of simple living, high thinking, so that when people read and study the books and they want to know, is there a lifestyle which can be different from the city lifestyle, which can be more sustainable, then we would be able to share with them such examples. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj spent a significant amount of time in one such community at New Vrindavan in West Virginia. And then he also established a community in Chowpatty, a city-based community. And so as part of the mandate which he had received, which ISKCON had received from Srila Prabhupada, he decided to establish the Govardhan Ecovillage way back in 2003. And as part of my presentation, I'm going to share with you how as this journey progressed. We have established the Govardhan Ecovillage based on 3 pillars. And the 3 pillars of Govardhan Ecovillage is spirituality, sustainability, and social impact. Go to the next slide. So this is the mission of Govardhan Ecovillage, that we have an alternative sustainable model where simple living and high thinking is emphasized. We have harmony with the self, harmony with the divine, harmony with nature, and we have several optimized action models, and we have tried to connect tradition with technology and showcase that yes, there are traditions which are extremely beneficial and healthy and very powerful. There are technologies, but we should not throw away the baby with the bathwater and try to harness the positive things which technology can actually help us adjust with our current lifestyle in a more sustainable manner. Next. So therefore, the first SDG, which we have tried to support and facilitate as part of our initiatives at the Govardhan Ecovillage is no poverty. And as all of us know, that despite the ongoing progress, the global poverty, almost 10% of the world's population, they live in poverty, and they struggle to meet the basic needs such as health, education, and access to water and sanitation. In 2015, more than half of the world's 736 million people were living in extreme poverty. They lived in sub-Saharan Africa. And without a significant shift in the social policy, extreme poverty will dramatically increase by 2030. And currently, the rural poverty rate stands at almost 17%, and in urban areas, it is almost 5%, and half of them are children. And a study which was published in September 2020 found that poverty has increased over a period of several years, and it has significantly increased by 7% during the last 1 year thanks to the COVID. Although it had been it had been increasing over the last 20 years. So at the Govardhan Ecovillage, we decided that we need to support the local community. Many of you may be aware that Palghar district is one of the most impoverished districts in Maharashtra. And so we decided to adopt the farmers, and in around 75 villages across the eco-village, which is almost 2 hours from the Mumbai International Airport, 108 kilometers. Our website is www.ecovillage.org.in, and when you go on the contact page, you can find the directions to come here. So we wanted a tourism to be connected to environmental protection, to be connected to the farmers training and rural development activities around India's almost 69% of the population is in rural spaces, and we wanted to reverse the migration. So we have so far conducted almost 3,000 farmers training, and Wadi program is basically what is known as multi-cropping, where over 1 acre of land we teach the farmers how to have agriculture, floriculture, horticulture, and also take care of livestock and take care of their cows. As you know that cow protection and goraksha is very much a part of our ethos. And then we train them how to create cow dung and cow urine based fertilizers, so that one of the biggest challenges in India is how to overcome this NPK based farming. So an alternative has to be created. So we have successfully trained, more than 20,000 farmers so far. 3,000 farmers are being currently being trained, and there has been significant improvement in their salary, in their annual income. For example, families which were earning only 8 to 10,000 rupees per annum have now started earning anywhere between 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs per annum Indian rupees, which is around 200,000 Indian rupees. So, therefore, this element of affecting and impacting the farmers and helping them in their pursuit of one of the largest occupations in India, which is farming, has been taken up in a big way by Govardhan Rural Development. Next. The second SDG is eradicating hunger. And as you know that to end hunger, to achieve food security, and to actually improve people's nutrition is one of the main agendas of SDG 2. So almost 700 million people are still hungry, almost 9% of the world's population, and up to 10 million people in 1 year, or nearly 60 million people in 5 years. So the majority of the world's undernourished, almost 381 million people, are still found in Asia. In Africa, almost 250 million people, they are in this kind of undernourished condition. In 2019, we found that almost 1 in 10 people were experiencing this food insecurity. And in 2019, an estimated 2 billion people did not have regular access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. And if these trends continue, the number of people who will be impacted by hunger in 2030 will grow up to, it will grow beyond 840 million, or almost 10% of the world's population. So one of the most impacted in this hunger category are children under the age of 5. So almost 144 million children in 2019 were impacted by this, especially in Southern Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. And so almost 47 million children under the age of 5 in 2019 have been affected by acute undernutrition, and it is extremely impacted only by limited nutrient intake and infections. So we decided to create Govardhan Annakshetra meal distribution program. As many of you may be aware, the distribution of food is something which is regularly done by all the Hindu temples, and Annakshetra is something as a concept described in the Mahabharata also, where Yudhishthir Maharaj was running a very powerful Annakshetra where millions of people were being fed. And the idea is that yagya, dana, and tapa should be done by human society. And as part of dana, one of the greatest forms of dana or charity is considered to be distribution of anna or food. Our founder Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that within a range of 100 kilometers, no one should go hungry. So therefore, we have taken up the entire Palghar district and we have launched what is known as Hunger Free Palghar campaign, and we plan to distribute almost 1.5 million meals in the coming year as part of our agenda. Over 77 kitchens were running during the COVID in 2020, April and May 2 months, and ISKCON distributed almost 50 million plates of prasadam to the migrant workers who were stuck during COVID. So therefore, as part of this, in a small way, Govardhan Annakshetra of Govardhan Ecovillage is trying to deal with hunger. And very soon we are also going to establish a hunger research institute to be able to connect agriculture and nutrition and hunger eradication, because all of them are very deeply interlinked. Next. The third is good health and well-being to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. So, as you know, many of you are aware that between the year 2000 and 2016, globally, the under 5 mortality rate decreased by 47%. Still, the number of children who are dying under the age of 5 is still very high. In 2016, it was almost 5.5 million people. And in 2015, it was found that, almost uh, many of these people were impacted by this because of not proper care as far as sanitation and health conditions are concerned. So therefore, Govardhan Ecovillage collaborates with Bhaktivedanta Hospital, which is in Mira Road. It is a 200-bed hospital, now going to become 350-bed very soon. And they have established their centers all around the Govardhan Ecovillage. And they have conducted almost 2,500 health camps and more than 100,000 treatments and even 1,800 plus cancer surgeries. On a regular basis, they have their medical vans which go out and conduct various kinds of homeopathic camps, eye surgery camps, blood donation camps, and various such camps by which the local people are benefited. And these are some of the images of some of the activities which they have been doing. And one of the very important elements of this is education with respect to health, because many healthcare diseases, health related diseases can be prevented if proper education is given at the right time. Next, the fourth is what is known as quality education. To ensure equitable quality education, almost 86% of the population in 2016 was defined as literate. That's true, but still, almost 381 million children were out of school in 1998 in that period. And until 2014, this number fell down to 263 million. But still, the fact remains that education, especially at secondary and tertiary levels, is becoming very important around the world. And by 2100, this figure is predicted to become almost 7 billion. So, top three skills of 2020 are: first, that complex problem solving; second, critical thinking; and third is creativity. So, in India itself, I'm part of a consortium called IIT-IIT, which is IITians for Influencing India's Transformation. And we discussed in that almost 270 million people, students in India are in the K to 12, 30 million are in the colleges. But still, we find that in India, almost every single year, the number of unemployed is growing, because many of those who are going through this education are not being employable. And therefore, as part of Govardhan Ecovillage's education program, we have started various levels of education, including rural education, where we are training students with a special kind of science lab so that they can connect nicely. 9,000 students have benefited, 1,000 sessions have been conducted. We also have a school of public leadership. We also have an excellent Bhaktivedanta Research Center where we are giving MA and PhD related to philosophy and theology. And we also have a Govardhan Gurukul where in-house we are training children right there. This is the need of the hour. Education is the future. Goal 5 next is gender equality. And, we know that women are almost 47% more likely to suffer injuries in car crashes because safety features are designed for men, and almost 33,000 girls become child brides every single day. And women in rural parts of Africa spend almost 40 billion hours every year collecting water. And only 6 countries give women equal legal work rights as men. So, we have decided to take upon the Govardhan Women Empowerment Program, and through agriculture, through skills and livelihood training, more than 300 plus self-help groups have been created, 3,000 women have been empowered, 12,000 family members have been impacted. And the idea is they come around and we teach them skills by which they can make various kinds of products like bags, like saris, like pickles and papads and various other kinds of things by which they can even set up their own small shops. And this adds to the income of the farmer community, and they very much appreciate this. Goal number 6 next is clean water and sanitation. And as all of us are aware, that in 2017, almost 71% of the population of the world could manage safe drinking water, and at least 90% had a basic sanitation available for them, but still 785 million people are still lacking basic water facility, and at least 2 billion people across the world are using water which is still contaminated by feces, and this can severely impact diseases like diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, etc. And almost 500,000 deaths happen every year thanks to waterborne diseases. And by 2025, half of the world's population is going to live in water stressed areas. So therefore, we try to support the local villages with 850 plus lift irrigation, 5,500 drinking water, and customized irrigation beneficiaries. So what we do is we do a hydrogeological survey and help the farmers locate where the water source is, help them actually, we support them by creating the water source and then have a system by which it is equitably distributed amongst them. Goal number 7, we have affordable and clean energy, and as all of us know that households consume almost 29% of global energy, and they contribute to 21% of the carbon dioxide emissions. So we at Govardhan Ecovillage have established a 220 kilowatt solar power. This is a picture of a wonderful solar park which we have created. We still have at least 30% more of solar to be covered so that we can become 100% of the grid. And another interesting thing is the biogas plant, where we have a 3,600 kg cow dung gives almost 30 cubic meter of biogas at the Govardhan Ecovillage, and animal driven prime mover, which you see below, where the bulls rotate and they can actually create a pump out of underground water. So, across the world, we have, 16% of the global primary energy coming from low carbon sources, but that's still extremely low. So we are trying to do our bit to add to that. Goal number 8 next is to promote decent work and economic growth. And, actually the global growth rate of the GDP per capita was 2%. And for the least developed countries, it was almost 4.5% in 2018. And actually, in Govardhan Ecovillage, we have tried to support the farmers by creating livelihood initiatives, by setting up shops for them so that they can actually do various kinds of businesses, even if they do not have land or they have been cheated of their land or whatever. More than 250 tribals have been benefited, and they have experienced an almost 50% increase in their individual income. We have just had a Srinathji Foundation or Dharam Singh Desai Foundation invest almost $2 million in creating Bhaktivedanta Kaushal Vikas Kendra, a skill development college, where every year 200 students will be benefited. Already 70 students have been benefited every year. But this is going to be the state of art skill development college where 70 plus skills and trades are being taught to the students, to the tribals every single year. And this will be opened very soon and will be part of what is known as GEV 2.0. GEV 1.0 is what we have currently. GEV 2.0 is spread over 40 acres. This is known as Govardhan Ecovillage. That will be known as Govardhan Entrepreneurship Village, where we are going to be setting up various avenues for entrepreneurship to flourish, because the future of India is not in employment, but in entrepreneurship. So understanding that, we are trying to be ahead of the curve and creating facilities by which the pass outs can actually become entrepreneurs and create employment for others. So, currently the working poverty affects more than 630 million workers, or 1 in 5, the global working population, or 56 million. So therefore, we want to make a difference in our own small way. Goal number 9 is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And in 2019, almost 14% of the world's workers were employed in manufacturing activities, and things have not changed much since 2000. And therefore, we thought that, yes, if the carbon dioxide emissions are continuing and they have declined, by nearly 1/4 since 2000, but this shows, okay, yes, there is a decoupling of carbon dioxide from GDP growth. So nearly the entire world population lives in an area covered by mobile network, right? And therefore, we have to create a model by which people can live eco-friendly, at the same time have modern amenities. So we tied up with Griha, which is Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment. We also tied up with IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, and we have created 500,000 mud blocks, which uses only 0.275 megajoules per kilogram of energy, as against 72 megajoules per kilogram of energy used by regular brick wall with paint. And then we have created almost 250,000 square feet of construction. We have a 125 key resort facility. And what you see on the right side is almost 15 million liters of rainwater harvested, and almost 40 million liters recycled with soil biotechnology plant, which is a completely green technology for recycling all of our black and gray water. It's an IIT Mumbai patented technology, which is a combination of bioreactors, root bacteria, and various kinds of geophagous earthworms, which make this happen. And Dr. Goyal has personally experienced this and seen this. So we have become a platinum rated green eco village, and we have won more than 35 awards so far for many of these interventions. Go ahead. The goal number 10 is reduced inequality, and bottom 40% of the population, in the 2012-2017 period, has seen some growth in 73 countries, but still the bottom 40% of the population received less than 25% of the overall income or consumption. So therefore, at the Govardhan Ecovillage, we were awarded in 2017 with the award representing India, ecotourism as a catalyst for rural development, where we are trying to connect the needs of the city folks who are looking for peace. So we offer them facilities for enhancing their peace through yoga, through Ayurveda, through spirituality, through finding a purpose in life. And then, we catalyze rural development and try to reduce these income disparities. And we are not just an island, but we are actually connecting all of this as an oasis. Goal number 11 is sustainable cities and communities. Very, very important, because the number of slum dwellers reached more than 1 billion or 2018. So, we want to showcase how we can actually live in inclusive manners, and how we can actually bring back culture into habitations, whether it is city or village. So we have created a replica of Vrindavan, which was one of the most sustainable places of Krishna's pastimes. So the replica of Vrindavan becomes a place where we are showcasing how people can actually reconnect back to nature and reconnect back to their purpose. And so it is very, very difficult to change holy places today, but we are showcasing a model where in every district, over 20 to 50 acres of land, the government can start planning to recreate holy places, which not only becomes a place of pilgrimage, but also showcases how environmentalism should be approached. Goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. you know Almost the subsidies for global fossil fuels in 2018 was around $400 billion, whereas an estimated one third of all the food produced, equivalent to 1.3 billion tons, worth almost $1 trillion, ended up rotting. And we want to change this, and therefore we feel that one of the best ways it can happen is when the global population learns better ways of self restraint. There is no shortcuts. Self discipline, self restraint is very important. Discipline is the fusion of intention with action. So, no better way to train this than through yoga and through Ayurveda. And along with that, we are also linking, as part of circular economy, the produce of the farmers back to the cities and across the world through Haribol. Very soon, you're going to be able to access Haribol grains and Haribol milk in different parts of the world also. And therefore, this is a very important element: Ayurveda, yoga, and organic food. Next. Goal number 13 is to take climate action, to take urgent action to combat climate change. And we have been very active in various climate change initiatives and activating various conferences by which we are able to share and express and exchange ideas on how this can be done in the best possible way. Next. Number 14 is life below water. And in this, we have a whole plastic recycling plant, because as you know, plastic is one of the largest menace as far as marine ecosystem is concerned. And 97% of the planet's water is in the oceans. And we know that one of the greatest challenges is the plastic littering which is happening. So we are showcasing a model of how through this pyrolysis plant, 150 kg of plastic is treated every day, resulting in almost 30 liters of refuse derived fuel. Next. Goal number 15 is life on land, is how we can protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of ecosystem managed forests. So we have 52 indigenous species of rice and millets being conserved, and almost 20,000 trees and 165 species. We collaborated with Bombay Natural History Society, and they are the ones who were founded by Dr. Salim Ali. And we did an entire biodiversity intervention in 2017. And as a result, specific species of plant were chosen. And as a result, we have seen an almost 50% increase in the butterflies and the insects, and the birds population in the eco village.
Sorry,
Next.
Prabhuji, just to remind you, 5 minutes more are there.
Yes. So goal number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And we really feel that man, animals, and society can live in harmony with each other. We are showcasing this by demonstrating our Goshala, by demonstrating how we can live in harmony with each other. Our entire community is centered around the principles of the Bhagavad Gita: simple living and high thinking, keeping Krishna in the center. And goal number 17 is partnerships. And we are happy to share that if we had just remained as a city temple, then we would have attracted a few Hindus who are interested in worship. But when we branched out and actually involved ourselves in applied theology by trying to translate the message and the lessons of the Bhagavad Gita in the form of an eco-village, we can see what kind of partnerships we have attracted and people who are wanting to collaborate with us, work with us, and see these examples and also translate it and implement in their own spaces in different parts of the world. So we are happy to share with you that we are part of United Nations Environment Program. We are affiliated to United Nations a Committee for Combating Desertification, and we are also an accredited NGO with United Nations Economic and Social Council. And we are very grateful to this wonderful community of scientists and environmentalists and theologians who have gathered. And thanks to Dr. Goel for making this happen. Thanks to Anuttama Prabhu, who is leading this, and to Gopal Patel also for showing this leadership in making this happen and bringing spirituality, sustainability together along with social impact. And we can definitely do our bit in creating transformation and bringing the world closer to the SDG agenda. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So now the session is open for questions. We can take 2 questions.
I see Mr. Vikram Singh's hand up.
Yeah. Mr. Tomar, please post your question in the chat section.
Chats.
Yeah, Tusharji, please go ahead.
Yeah. We have a question from Ms. Joshi. The question says, what kind of arrangements are made for education of rural girls in Govardhan Ecovillage?
So we have an entire wing of the Govardhan Ecovillage dedicated to training the rural girls around. And first of all, we have a midday meal program which facilitates the enhancement of the attendance in the schools, the local village schools. And also we have lady volunteers who specifically go and train the girls in various kinds of basic health and hygiene, and also encourage them and inspire them to study and not drop out of schools. And specifically by giving them attention in training in mathematics, science, education. And we found that there has been a dramatic increase in attendance of the schools by these children. Along with that, we also try to inspire the farmer families that they should change their perspective on how they look at the girls and change their attitudes and behavior. So this combination of both ends has helped transform this to a great extent.
We have another very relevant question. This is from Dr. Banerjee. Is there any difference in the growth rate of the SDGs with and without spirituality? If yes, why?
Thank you for asking that question. To be honest with you, my subject of specialization is not sustainability, but as a result of the project which has been given to us, so I had to get involved and connected with various sustainability experts and try to execute on the ground. You know how difficult it is to get anything done in rural India. So as part of that exercise, I got to know more and more about sustainability and the principles. So whatever little bit I know about sustainability is thanks to the association of many sustainability acharyas or gurus. So I would say that what we have is a living lab where we invite people, and we have nice air-conditioned rooms also, which run on solar. So you can come and stay here, some of you, and then do a proper research. And we are open for facilitating research projects where you could do these kind of exercises and then publish papers. And then I think we are very open to collaborate and facilitate such research, which is based on the question you have just asked. So welcome to any researchers who are interested to do this as part of your exercise. But at this stage, I don't have any research or data to be able to share with you with conviction.
Roji, we have one more interesting question, which is very important for micro levels. It is from Malini Devi Dasi. Prabhuji, if we were to replicate a part of this eco-village in a street, for example, with 230 cows and all areas, as you mentioned, Prabhuji, in a town or city, what could be the possible challenge one can face?
I think the three challenges which I have faced in the eco-village while creating the eco-village is, first is inspiration. The leader may be inspired, followers are not inspired. Leaders and followers both get inspired, donor is not inspired. By the time donor gets inspired, the follower has lost his inspiration. So there are various cycles of this which I have seen. So one is inspiration, steady, sustained inspiration. That means your intention has to be very, very clear as to why you want to do this. Second is integrity. That yes, we have to be true to our principles and values, no matter how difficult the challenges may be. So we have tried to stick to our, values of spirituality, sustainability, and social inclusion.
So now, Prabhuji, we can take the last question.
No, I have not yet.
He's not completed. Yeah.
Okay.
The third one is pending. Yes.
Okay.
Because why I'm saying is sometimes there are many Western guests who come, and then they are from animal rights and vegan movement, and then they start saying, hey, we don't agree with your Goshala, and what is this? We have to go vegan. Many more
Vegan,
Western
yeah.
people would come and everything. But well, whatever it may be, we are not vegan, we are Krishnan. That means we believe in what Krishna was believing. That means protecting the cows and having the milk in ahimsa manner. So many times proposals will come which may inspire you to go on a mission drift. So integrity is very important. So inspiration, integrity, and third is intelligence. That means don't think that as per your particular topography, local terrain, local climatic conditions, local government support or lack of support, the solution will come on a platter like this. Just take it and then you take it like that. No, you have to use your intelligence to think out of the box and then come with this. So today on our call, we have Dr. Aditi Michel, who's our Chief Sustainability Officer, and she's working out an entire, module by which you can come for a month or come for 2 months and go through an entire training program on how to create an eco-village. So we are very soon beginning our eco-village consulting, module, and you will be able to actually come and experience the eco-village, and then we will handhold you to try to create an eco-village of your own. So this is basically what we are planning in the near future.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We are taking now last question from Dr. Banerjee. That is very interesting also. How innovations of eco-village are sustainable and industry relevant?
Industry relevant.
Yeah.
Industry relevant.
Yes. So basically, I would say the other way around. We have utilized, sustainability relevant technologies from the industry and tried to use it in a manner which has harmonized with village and nature environment. So therefore, we have not created any new technology. The soil biotechnology was created by Professor Shankar and Dr. Patnaik many years ago. We just implemented it, and we have just integrated all of these innovations with spirituality and social impact. So therefore, we don't claim to have created any new technology, but we have tried to put all the technologies at the right place, because as you know, unless you have a systems thinking, you cannot actually accomplish the real impact which is intended through by various separate achievements and efforts. So that's where I would like to end. Thank you very much, Dr. Goyal, for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Tushar and Dr. Joshi, for your wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.